Item 2 today is our legislative update from Senator Rob Kupec. Good morning, Senator. Wherever you're most comfortable. Just make sure you've got a microphone that's green. Thanks for joining us today.
Sure, thank you. Thanks for having me today. I listened to Senator Johnson's breakdown of what he thought the legislative session looked like. He was spot on, so I don't feel like I need to review any of that. That was all probably covered last week. I'll tell you, I've got, looking forward, I'll tell you a few things that I'm working on this session, things that you might be of interest to you. I know we've got some legislation about ag land preservation around solar and use of prime ag land, making sure that prime ag land isn't taken up by solar. So I know I've got a bill that I'll be working on that. The grain indemnity fund on the ag side, which was basically a way to cover farmers when their grain is in storage. We've used it for the first time this year. There was a company out of Omaha that went bankrupt, and there's been some elevators, and there's a couple of people here in the western part of the state, too, that have been affected by this. It's working fine. We have plenty of money to cover it. But every time, when you use something for the first time, the ag department's come back and said there's a few things probably we need to tweak to make it, a little bit more efficient, to make sure that the state is recouping all the money they can from the bankruptcy. So that'll be something to work on. Obviously, it's hopefully going to be a bonding year. The chatter early on is that bonding looks promising, so we're very hopeful on that. And obviously, flooding and getting the non-secure part of our project done here on the PRTF is super important, top of the list. The rural water district also in the northern part of Clay County coming in from the north also be looking for some funding. And along that line too, because it is a policy year, those people that have been working on that rural water in the northern part, the process to do that is awful. It's terrible. It's convoluted. And this is we need to move in this direction. Just for a lot of rural communities, pooling your resources is a much better way to go. So thanks to them for navigating this, but we need to make that process of doing that easier to navigate, because I know in Otter Tail County there's another project that eventually might even work its way into the southern part of Clay County. We need to make that process just a lot cleaner to do that, because I think there's going to be a lot of places looking forward to try to update their infrastructure. Some other kind of one-off things. I've had one constituent in particular, long-term partnership insurance, which is for basically long-term care. There's an inflationary on that, and there's very few people on it. If you get the non-inflationary policy, it saves that person a lot of money. Probably in the end doesn't even cost the state any money to make that change. So that's a weird kind of wonky policy area, but it's a good policy here. Both Moorhead and Dilworth have expressed interest in forming social districts, which is certain times of the year where you can walk between places with an open container. We've had a couple of trials down in, I think it's Anoka and in Shakopee. It's gone really well. We tried last year to expand it, but sometimes when a community has something that nobody else has, they want to keep that kind of monopoly going. Not that they care about probably anything up in Clay County, but they're concerned about some of their neighbors within the Twin Cities getting that. So maybe there's a creative way that we can open it up outside of the 7-county metro. Love that 7-county metro exemption in there. On schools, I know there's some things about safety and also about just being able to move funding between buckets of money that would really help when things are a little bit tight, to help out schools, loosen it up. Won't cost the state really anything to do that. Maybe, I don't know if you've heard anybody talk to you about chiropractic care. The governor was very insistent last year that we cut Medicare, Medicaid funding for chiropractic care. in his budget spreadsheet, it saved a little bit of money. I think in the end, it probably saves no money because those people are still entitled to care and they're going to go someplace else to get it. And the chiropractors will offer that care at a much more reduced rate. So certainly a lot of our local chiropractors are pretty upset about this. I have offered myself as the lead author to try to restore that funding to chiropractic care. It's one of those things that if we can creatively show how it will actually save the state money, maybe even in a non-budget year, that could be something we could get done. IT modernization grants. I had that bill last year for the counties to get that done. It is obviously not a budget year. It's still out there. It's still an important thing. And I think for whatever reason, maybe it's credit on you. I mean, I was well aware of this. AMC has talked to me. I was well aware. We had some hearings on a different related subject, and some other counties came, and other legislators were like, seemed to be just newly finding out about the fact that these things don't talk very well together, and we need to do that. So still working on that. Commissioner Mojo and I talked about some regulations around kratom. There is a bill I am not the chief author of, but there's a bill about having some regulations. I've agreed to sign on to that, so that'll be something we'll be taking up. Sustainable aviation fuel, we still need to expand that tax credit on that to make sure that the plant that potentially is coming here to Clay County is still on track. That will be not only a huge benefit of jobs, the property tax on the plant will certainly be a huge bonus to the county, the city, the school district, so we'll work on that. And on electronic waste recycling, I think we might actually have at least come to an agreement about batteries. Maybe we can get something done on batteries. They're a huge fire hazard. The fire insurance that we're paying on facilities that handle waste because of these batteries is through the roof, so that would save money there. And even just the firefighting apparatus in some places we're having to put in to prevent these fires is a huge cost. So we might, I'm optimistic maybe we can do the other electronic waste, but it seems like we've been working through the interim with all the stakeholders, and it seems like we may be able to get somewhere on batteries. So with that, and I will mention, for the citizens that testified behind, nobody has reached out to my office about this. So I've not gotten an email or phone call or anything on this. And I'm not on those environment committees, but I know last year we were trying to make sure that there was not this expansion of these waterways and legislatively, and the compromise we made was that we would take an inventory,
right.
And that was the compromise. So if I'm hearing that the DNR is somehow expanding this, that may be in their rules, but I am more than happy to dig in on that. And if we need to get, if this process is, and I believe fully that this is a complicated process because a lot of these agencies don't make anything easy. Even as legislators, they don't make anything easy. But if we need to get somebody from the DNR to come up or at least talk to people or even do a Zoom call or something, I am happy to try to be a conduit to facilitate that.
I really do appreciate that. They're, as part of the inventory, they're reviewing the 4 counties this first go-round, and we were lucky enough to be part of the first round of that. And they did have a meeting at the Yum-Cumps, and folks were providing comments, but the reality was they were not being entered into the comment pool even with that feedback. And so it is problematic. I'm hopeful because this is the first of the rounds that, they're open to tweaking how they receive the input. But it is odd to me, given that you're on ag, that they did not let you know that either. And so would appreciate any help you can.
No, because in my mind, an inventory is like, okay, let's just go out and assess. And that's a reasonable thing to do. We want to know what's out there. But I did not think that taking an inventory meant that they had some kind of carte blanche to go and change things.
Yeah, they're
okay, we have these waterways and here's what we have. That's good information to know. But changing things is not the idea, the intent certainly that we had of taking an inventory.
Right, and where it kind of plays to where, it might raise your awareness as well. Obviously, the counties are allotted buffer strip implementation dollars, and as we're adding additional waterways as part of this, that really effectively will change what counties and SWCDs will need to allocate to make sure that those have, they're under the buffer strip regulation as well. And I know that was part of a conversation that was potentially a cutting spot for saving dollars statewide and not wanting to have landowners left by the wayside, or counties or SWCDs with what those fees will incur is important for you to know about. Sure. Any comments on that one particularly? Well, I know for us, we've had the opportunity to meet with you a number of times in the last several weeks, but particularly over the last legislative session. So a lot of what you've talked about this update is something that we're well aware of, and we're glad to continue to work with you on this. But thank you for being always available to us. I know there's been times when you've called to say there's an opportunity to testify in the next 24 hours. Can someone from Clay get down there? So thanks for letting us know about that. And thanks also for connecting us with your colleagues. As we know that it takes more than just one senator to get things done, and you've really helped us to branch out with leadership across the aisle as well. So I appreciate that. Any comments? Yes.
Only to reiterate what she just said. So once again, thank you for ease of communication, constant, right, almost. And I thought the biggest thing is Commissioner and I go down to the St. Paul area. The meeting of your other colleagues has been just huge. And to have those relationships coming, whether through you or our other representatives, is so important to what happens. And I guess as we work toward bonding, you've been key in that and helping us. So thank you.
Any other feedback? All right, you got 1 week to relax.
Sure. Yeah, thanks. No, I have meetings already now. No, but I will say, and I want to thank you, because I think you've done a really good work, especially highlighting the need for mental health, and that this county has really stepped up where other counties have not done that, and so that's really appreciative. And I think at the state level it is also appreciative. And we have a unique, I think we get lumped into Greater Minnesota. Here in Clay County, we're a very unique part of Greater Minnesota because we are attached to this metro area. We have a different story, I think, to tell, and I think it's been great that when you've come down and been able to share that with some of my colleagues, because they're not always aware of this is a very different dynamic out here in this part of Western Minnesota. So thank you.
Well, we appreciate it. Thank you so much, Senator.
Thanks for coming.